What's going on, Forcible players? Ryan Miles here from Alter Reality Gaming for the first time, coming at you with episode number 16 of the Daily Mileage. I know I missed a couple days last week. I really just had nothing else to talk about. I was super excited for the set to come out. I didn't really have any time to playtest, so I couldn't give you any insights from the meta. And I don't want to sit here and talk to you for 15 minutes about absolute bullshit, just sort of bullshit, right? Pseudo bullshit. So today's pseudo bullshit episode is going to be about the database. So the database went down sometime in the past couple days, and it is, I think, the single worst thing to happen to FoW since ever. Like, this is just a monumental failure on anything that FoW could be doing. Now, I do have some information about how the situation came about. I don't know how much of it is public, so I'm not going to talk about what happened specifically, but the database is so critical to the last vestiges of the FoW's player base that it's completely unacceptable that it no longer exists. And I don't know whose responsibility it has to come down to get this fixed, but like, it's just such a slap in the face to people who still are here caring about the game, right? So like, all of the casual players have kind of faded out, from Bahamut, Reflect, Prisia, Fox, like, you name it. Like, the people who are still playing FoW, like the sub 100 people still going to Grand Prix, still buying boxes upon boxes of product to keep this game alive, are the dedicated competitive players, like myself, like I'm sure you are since you're watching this video, like the people who attend these events and the people who buy the cards, right? And for me personally, I don't have a lot of time. Like, as you know, I skip my video on Thursday and Friday. I don't have time to play as much FoW as I want to play because I'm an adult with responsibilities or garbage like that, and I can't like sit down for an hour and play a match, or sit down for like 4 hours and just do playtesting. Like, I have limited time, and I get as much of the game as I can out of it just by like thinking about the game in my spare time. And like, that means anytime that I'm pooping at work, anytime that I have downtime, like at lunch or something, like I'm on the database, like brewing ideas and looking up cards and stuff. And like, the official FOWTCG.com card database is complete and utter garbage compared to the other one. Just the fact that you have to, like, it's not user friendly. It has similar functionality, but not entirely. The search function is a lot more spread out. Like, if you want to search for a certain card, you have to either know a piece of its name or know a piece of its text that, you know, is like verbatim in the card text. With the old database, you could just kind of type anything in the search field, and then everything that, like, whether it was in the name, the card text, the card type, any of that stuff, like, it would just pop up. And then you would also have like multiple like entries all at the same time, and like, just having that functionality just made it super easy to browse through. And like, now, yeah, okay, we still have the FoW official database, and you can still like look through cards, but just like, especially on mobile, like if you want to look at a card, you have to like click through 2 different like levels of the website in order to get to the actual card that you want to look at. And if you want to like save a picture of it to send it to your friend, you have to like go to that page, and like, it's not even immediately downloadable from the final page. You have to like download it from the page before the final page. Like, I'm probably describing this very poorly, but if you've ever tried to use the official database on mobile compared to the old database, it's unmanageable. It's just not nearly as good. I have no idea why. Like, I mean, I have some idea why, but like, it's not acceptable. Like, I spend more time on the database looking up FoW cards and just like jotting down ideas in a notebook that I have than I do actually playing FoW. And it's so painful to think that anything could happen that would allow this to be taken down when it is like the #1 pillar of the community. Like, it's just the #1 tool that everyone uses. It's just like, it's so functional, useful. Like, I don't know if I'm using all of the words correctly here to describe this, but I'm super passionate about the database. I absolutely love the work. I would fund this myself if that was the issue. But apparently there's like some legal complications. There's like coding complications where after the server got shut down, some of the code got deleted, so it's not even able to be put back up like we wanted to. And FoW is apparently working on like revamping their database, and that's like kind of why this happened, because it was a money issue at first. It was like being paid for out of pocket by someone that was not being reimbursed by Force of Will. So like, okay, that person wants to stop paying for it, completely reasonable, completely fine. But like, this issue needs to be brought to Force of Will beforehand and said, hey, this is the #1 tool in the entire community. It is more useful than your own freaking website. Like, I will crowdfund this. I will, like, if money was the issue, I would set up a, like, Patreon. You would go, or like a Kickstarter in the description below, it would be there. But like, that's not the issue. Like, it was just a failure on the part of, from my understanding, Force of Will management, certain European Force of Will managements, and just like a miscommunication between all parties involved. So it's really like, it's difficult to point blame on why it was shut down, but it's like, it's unacceptable. So you can't, how do I describe this, right? So it's not like Force of Will wanted to intentionally shut down the database because it was infringing on them in any way whatsoever. It was just like, okay, this is going to be shut down, and an unintended consequence of this is that we no longer have it, and we have no way to get it back up, like in the very near future. And that just shouldn't have been allowed to happen in the first place, and because it was never an official channel, is the problem that allowed this like misguided thing to happen, where it is no longer existing and it's not able to be set up anymore. So my opinion is that Force of Will should be doing everything they can to rectify this issue, because they just had a major set release. Everyone is trying to build decks right now, and good golly god, their database is garbage compared to the old database. Like, it's just, it's miles away, in my opinion. Miles away, get it? That was a joke. Anyway, so like, I can't believe that this transpired. I can't believe it. Like, on the set release, when everyone's most passionate about trying to find new ideas and just look through the cards. Like, I don't have, like, if you had done this in like the middle of the last set, like, okay, I probably still could have been like deck building functionally, because I have a general understanding of like what everything else in the set does, what the powerful cards are. I've been playing in the meta. I understand what's going on. But like, because a new set just dropped, this is like the absolute worst time, because not only do I not know what any of the new cards do, but there are like old cards that are now suddenly relevant that I am having such a hard time like finding, because it is so difficult to use the new database. Like, just certain search terms don't work the way that they used to on the old database. Things like resting, like when I want to rest a Resonator so that I can untap it for my gimmicky IML deck, like I can't easily find those because they use the tap symbol instead. At least I haven't figured out a way to search those yet. Maybe I'm wrong, but like, it's just like a functionality, like an ease of use, a system that I was already used to compared to the one that they have, they're forcing me into now. And really, it's just like a mobile issue. It's just like not designed for mobile. It's barely designed for desktop, to be completely honest. But like, the fact that it's almost impossible to functionally navigate efficiently on mobile, which is where I like to do most of my like downtime searching through card database, it's just so incredibly appalling to me that this was allowed to happen. So I'm not sure what Force of Will has to do to get this up and running, or like get their new database up and running. Like, I'm at the point where if I had any more time on my hands, I would code it myself, just because it's just such a valuable tool for anyone still playing this game. But anyway, back to the point of like it being a problem when the set just dropped. Like, I have been like thinking about like some random decks for a while now, and then like most of them are unplayable because of True Blade, or they're unplayable because of Sherazade. So like, I have to revisit a lot of old archetypes, right? Like, I want to look at Rhea, so I need to think about all of the mystery counter cards that I haven't put any thought into for the past 3 sets, because Rhea has been unplayable. It was unplayable in set 1 because we didn't have any of the sealed items and it was just garbage. You started the game with 1 mystery counter. It was unplayable in set 2 because Otherworld Dreams existed, probably. I don't think we had the unsealed Rhea yet, did we? That might have been it. I think we got... No, we got unsealed Rhea. So it was unplayable because Black Green Fire, Lumia Command, we had Otherworld Dreams. It was unplayable in set 3 because Scheherazade existed, and we got Last Days of a Powerless Dragonoid. And now, like, we still have Scheherazade, but it's, like, kind of tier 1-ish. And we still have Last Days of a Powerless Dragonoid, but it's a sideboard card now. And, like, there's actually some viability to Rhea, but I can't easily look up the goddamn cards to build this deck that I've, like, the cards that I've completely ignored for the past 3 sets. It's so, like, it's frustrating, and it's, like... I also want to look at other decks, like Tigris. I think Tigris is potentially a tier 2 deck. I've been ignoring Pandas for 3 sets because because it wasn't good in set 1, you didn't have enough support, and then True Blade got printed, and True Blade has forced pandas out of the meta for 2 sets. And I just, like, I'm not just like looking up pandas, I'm also looking up like white cards, but I also don't know what deck I'm playing. I don't know what colors I'm going to be. I know I'm at least white, I know I'm probably black, and possibly third color is green, but like there's merit to blue because blue-white has some good stuff. There's merit to red because they just printed a red-white like take risk support card, and like looking up cards for that deck, which are cards I have literally ignored. I have absolutely no idea what any of the goddamn panda cards are. But it's so frustrating to try and search through this database like in my downtime, in my free time, because I'm trying to do it on mobile, and because all of the search results like pop up page by page by page by page, and it's like 5 entries at a time. So if I'm looking up like generic like red cards or something just to see like what generic red cards exist that aren't like Keurig support, I get like 10 pages of results. I have to like search through like each individual page, and then when I find something and I click on it and then I want to like save it and send it to someone, I have to like figure out which page I'm actually able to save it from, and I have to go back and then I have to start from page 5 again and then like keep going through. And then when I want to restart my search, I click on the top of the page at the card database. That takes me back to the top of the page, but then I have to delete all of my search entries that I entered because they save themselves when I go back to the main thing. And it's, I'm not trying to dwell too much on how much I hate this thing, but I absolutely hate this thing. And the old database was so much better. So this is my like obnoxious rambling. I'm going to attempt to find more avenues to get the database back in some capacity, because this is something I'm passionate about, and I think a lot of players who are still in the game are passionate about, because it does give you a way to exercise your love for Force of Will in your downtime like you can't do by actually playing the game. So that's something that I think is very important for the remaining players of the game. And if anyone has any information about like if there's something I don't know about the situation that you have, like please let me know and PM me, because I'm doing everything I can to try and get this back. And yeah, that's my thoughts on it. So that's my 10-minute video for today, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the video. Earlier today, I did a stream with some pretty cool decks. You can check that out at twitch.tv/ontiltgg if you missed them. And then the deck lists are uploaded on the Alter Reality Gaming Facebook page. So more on that, more on the OTG, ARG thing later on. And we're still kind of figuring out like what's going to be going where. For the most part, my Force of Will is going to be dedicated to Alter Reality Gaming, but they don't really have any like platforms for me to post content yet on like Twitch and YouTube, so nothing going on there yet. Last but not least, tomorrow's video is going to be about the decks that I played today, so they are pretty cool. There's a Time Spinning Witch, ended up being actually pretty above average from what I was surprised for. So if you're interested in hearing some Time Spinning Witch stuff, make sure you come back tomorrow. So thank you very much for watching, guys. Today was a Daily Mileage, and I will see you tomorrow.